When you think of Angry Birds go-karts, you probably think of the premium carts or the telepods. While most of them are relatively decent, the carts that perform best are the budget carts, the ones that actually evolve. Every cart needs a driver, so what if we gave a Pokemon the budget carts? I'm mostly going to include seasonal carts even though they have an L6 name tag. Starting off, we have the Semi-Skimmer. It's a small cart with a wooden grill, a milk carton on the back, and a straw for railings. I immediately thought of Miltank, and I think this is a good option. Miltank is obviously based on a cow, and she uses the move Milk Drink, which heals her. I think you need no further explanation. Then we have the Spoonmobile. We have a dumpster on the back, spoon railings, and a thermometer wheel. Since this vehicle is essentially made of trash, I thought going with Trubbish made a lot of sense. Trubbish is a pile of rubbish, and this vehicle is just a rolling junkyard, so I thought it made sense. The Tick Ticker. The obviously most notable part is the alarm clock on the back, and since clocks have gears, I of course had to go with Clang Clang. Need I say more? Iron Bolt. The railings look like wood with yogurt cups on each end. I felt limited by my choices, but I think going up Iron Hands would be fair, since they both have iron in the name, and I thought it'd make more sense than the other futuristic Pokemon. Music Maker. It's a small music box, so I felt obligated to go with Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff is also a music maker, and it's a perfect size for her. Shake Deluxe. This is where things get tricky. Pokemon Mania don't seem to feature soda a lot, but since I found this screenshot of Axew getting a soda, I thought, why not? So Axew gets the Shake Deluxe. Unfortunately, things don't get easier because next up is Bubble and Beak. Soda seems to be sort of a rare thing in the Pokemon series. The only choice I can think of is Toxel, since it looked like it enjoys soda, even though Electric Poison sounds more of an energy drink combination. That's why for Pinky Talk, I'm going with Toxtricity for the same exact reason. Tape Deck. Tape Deck is a classic. But, when is tape a prominent thing in Pokemon? When I thought of tape, I thought of bandages. So I quickly figured out that maybe a nurse could do the job, and that's why I'm going with Wigglytuff. Though this is probably stretching the theming a lot. What can I say? I'm limited on choices. As for Drumroller, I think going with Rillaboom would be the best choice, though he's pretty big and might have a hard time fitting in. Rillaboom's Gigantamax form has a drum kit, and obviously since Gigantamax is even more humongous than Rillaboom already is, we're going with classic old Rillaboom. What even is this thing? There's a rolling pin, 2 pillows. Do I pick a pillow Pokemon? There's also bronze armor railings, but that doesn't really help. My best bet is Drowsy, since Komala can't even hold onto the cart, and Snorlax, well, he's too big. For Big Boomer, I'm gonna pick a Pokemon that knows the move Explosion, which is instantly kills them. The thing is made of wood, and that's why I'm picking Shift Tree. The Spooky Cart was a seasonal cart added to Angry Birds Go in October of 2015. Any Halloween Pokemon would obviously work, but if I had to pick one, I would choose Phantom. There were many good contenders though. I could have done Houndstone, Gourgeist, and even the classic Gengar. During Thanksgiving of 2015, a turkey cart was released. There aren't any turkey Pokemon, so I'll go with the next best thing, a chicken. Combuskin. Combuskin is more like an actual chicken, whereas Torchic is a baby and Blaziken is a chicken warrior. That's it for the Seedway budgets, on to the rocky road. I sure love the Beach Buggy. And since it's made of mostly of wood, why not give it to a Pokemon that lives at the beach? Palisand, though he'd probably have a hard time steering. Royal Blue. There is a big water barrel on the front with 2 faucets. I'm gonna give this one a Squirtle, since he's small and this vehicle doesn't possess much water power. Now I could be wrong, but Green Machine looks like it has bamboo for railings, and that's why I want to give it to Pancham. Pangoro likely wouldn't fit, and neither would Celesteela. Royal Snout is a cart that's fit for a king, and that's why King Gambit gets it. He can now proudly sit in one of the most fragile carts in the whole game. Capster is a bit tricky. It looks like a coffin with a recliner on it. I guess since it would be for lazy people, why not give it to Slacking? Lucky Skater has a really cool design in my opinion. We have a skateboard, a frying pan, and a die. It's so genius. Since it's called Lucky Skater, I'm giving to a Pokemon that knows Lucky Chant. It might be a weird choice, but I'm giving it to Gloom. I can't explain further. Home Runner is entirely themed around baseball. I found this picture of Whitney and Apom, so maybe Apom will be right for this card. As for Punch Box, I'm giving it to Hariyama, since it knows Focus Punch. Though he's 7 feet tall, might not fit. Who could forget Cardboard? Since it's a recycled card, why not give it to Garbodor? I think he'd be a great fit. Cool Runner also uses recycled material. Since there's a blue bucket and Pampor knows recycle, perhaps Pampor will work for this one. Picnic Packer. If you've played Pokemon Scarlet or Violet, you know well about the picnic feature where you can make sandwiches. One of the main plot points was getting Herba Mysticas for Arvin so he can make a sandwich that will cure his ill Mabostiff. As a tribute, I thought giving Mabostiff the picnic packer would be neat. Big Burner. It has a microwave on the back, and I think you know what this means. We're giving it Rotom. But not just any Rotom, Heat Rotom. The Lucky Goat 888 and Monkey Cart are themed after Lunar New Year. I thought giving Go-Goat the Go and Infernape the Monkey Cart would do the trick. On to Air. Sardine Sailor. You know who is most like a sardine? Wishy Washy. That's why he's the Sardine Sailor, but not the school form. I always thought Ham Glider had a cute design. Since Pinwheels and Top Spin, let's give it to a Pokemon known for spinning. Spinda. Barrel Roller. I'm giving this to a Pokemon that knows Rollout and is a grass type. That being Quilladin. He probably rolls out a lot. High Flyer. Any flying type would probably work, but for simplicity's sake, I went with Corviknight, since he's awesome. Soapy Slider has such a fun design. The soap bar on the back, the toothbrush propeller. You'd be amazed that this thing can even fly. I'm gonna have to give it to Wash Rotom though. Is it cheating? Probably, but there isn't too many options. Sponge Cruiser. There's a Mareep sponge in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's Picnic mode. That's the only reason why I can give Mareep this thing. TT Racer is a simple one. Give it to a T Pokemon. Sinistee. And then we'll give Poltegeist a Tub Thumper. It all comes full circle. Woodwind. Tropius resembles a tree, and he is a grass flying type, so I think it's fair that he gets the Woodwind. Pokemon doesn't seem to feature kites in media, but Mantine is known as the kite Pokemon, so kinda have to go with them. Crazy Kayak. Since this thing resembles a boat, aka a kayak, I'm giving it to a Pokemon that destroys boats, Carvana. Bubble Bard is just another kayak, but it has bubble in the name. Who do I give it to? I'm giving it to Dewpider, since it has a bubble-shaped head that looks like it's gonna burst. Next is Stunt. Soda Supreme brings us back to the problem with soda-related Pokemon. In fact, I felt stumped as I had used every option I felt was perfect. I looked at the second part, Supreme, and found an ability known as Supreme Overlord, but it's used by King Gambit, who we already gave the Royal Snout to. I was basically puzzled. Could no one have this awful vehicle? Does no one support the Soda Supreme? Eventually, I thought of a solution. And this probably won't be the best pick, but let me explain. The Soda Supreme shoots out bubbles. What if I give another Pokemon that knows Bubble this vehicle? And I finally settled on Blastoise, since he has bubble shooters of his own. The Matchstick Mobile has firecrackers. I think you know what that means. Blacephalon. Rocket Racer. Listen, Celesteela is simply too big for these cards. It is over 20 feet tall and can just use itself in a race. It's a walking rocket ship. Now when you think of the word rocket and Pokemon, you think of Team Rocket. So suffice to say, I'm gonna have to give this to Meowth, even if it might sound unusual. As for Wall Magnet, I actually thought Magnezone would fit since it's a magnet. Weaver XT. It's a tent. It has a basket on the front. What is this thing? Since you go camping in the woods, and the woods has trees, I think I'm just gonna have to surrender and give this to Trico. I'll also give Barbaquick to Grovyle and to avoid more troubles than I'm already in. Mushu? Come on, we all know Ting Lu deserves this thing. It's already a moose. Point Breaker has surfboards. Instead of giving a Pokemon that knows surf, let's give it to a surfing Pokemon, a Alolan Raichu. Pork Chopper. So, what exactly is this thing? Since it has a pig name and not a lot of Pokemon will work with this thing, I'll just give this to Oink alone. Cork Wagon. How about Carkol? It is a wagon, though not exactly cork themed. Iron Swine. It does have a barrel, and that's the barrel, so just kidding! We're giving this to Pig Knight. And the Hog Rod. You think Embor can fit in this? Maybe it can, but I still think it should have it. The last episode we're looking at is Sub-Zero. We're starting off with the Tar Billower, and although I could give it to Bibarel, we're giving it to the only Pokemon that knows Tar Shot, Colossal. Polar Ice Cup. Vanillite is a little ice cream cone. Not a cup, but I think it'll work. Crampon Crawler. The seat is a giant boot. It almost looks like it's giving a kick. Why not give it to a Pokemon known for kicking? Hitmonlee. Tracked Trekker. The cart has ski theming, and the Pokemon I'm going with is rather popular in ski resorts. Glaceon. That's the closest name we can get. Slushy Slider. The best thing we can do is give it to a Pokemon that knows the ability Slush Rush. This unironically helps with the snow theming of Sub-Zero and giving it a snow-related Pokemon. Anywho, I'm giving it to Alolan Sandshrew. And for Snow Scoop, I'll give it to its evolution, the Alolan Sandslash. Sledgehog. Alright, so this might be weird, but it'll make sense, I promise. There are bowling pins attached to the Sledgehog, so let's give it to a Pokemon you can roll like a bowling ball, Voltorb. And for Strikeout, we'll give it to its evolution, Electrode. Santa's Sleigh. We're giving it to Jinx since there was a Crimson episode around it. Just kidding! We're giving it to Delibird, because Delibird represents Santa in the Pokemon universe. Finally, we have the Xmas Cart Mark II. I thought maybe there'd be Pokemon based around Christmas food, but no. So I'm gonna go with the other Santa Pokemon, if you will, Iron Bundle. What? It's just Delibird from the future. Well, that was a lot to go through, huh? I hope you enjoyed, especially of how much I expanded an Angry Birds game and opened up the possibilities of even more fan concepts. Angry Birds Go Fan Wiki? When? Well, thank you for watching and have a good day.